GameXplain recently had a discussion about whether or not they view the newly announced Steam Deck as competition for the Nintendo Switch. I recommend watching the video, but overall, they view it as not competition for the Nintendo Switch due to it potentially not being long-term supported, the audience being PC gamers while the Switch has a large casual audience, the amount of storage space, and most importantly, no Nintendo exclusives. In this video, I'd like to talk about some of these points, as well as raising others as to why the Steam Deck might be more competitive with the Switch audience than some may think. During the video, the point is brought up that Steam has come out with devices in the past that seem to fade out, and that this device will need support as PCs need to upgrade every few years. This point is a little misguided because, just as like for consoles, PCs don't need to upgrade all the time. I play current games on my PC that I've had for over 5 years. Obviously, I don't play on max settings, but neither do consoles. The Steam Deck isn't just gonna not be able to play games in 2 years. You won't be able to run games at max settings, but the draw of this device, just like the Switch, is the portability. As for Steam dropping support for other devices, it's because they became somewhat irrelevant. The Steam Link was a device that let you stream games from your PC to your TV as long as they were on the same network. This device is no longer necessary as Roku's, Apple TVs, and Android TVs can just download Steam Link as an app, so there's no need for a device just for streaming Steam. As for Steam machines, they were designed to be a simpler alternative to console gamers who just wanted to turn on their device without having to worry about building a PC or specs. Really, the main thing that was developed for this was SteamOS, which is still supported. It's a free operating system with a simple console-like UI that you can install on any computer. After the audience that wanted the Steam machine got one, it served its purpose. They either got into PC gaming, or they decided it's not for them and never got a PC again. The Steam controller is a device that they dropped support for, but considering PC is compatible with any controller, it wasn't really necessary in the first place. For the audience being primarily PC gamers, I agree that that is the initial audience for this device. But I think going forward, we are going to see people who like portable gaming pick up this device. As an example, Rocco from Mega64 has never liked PC gaming, but loves portable gaming, so he pre-ordered the Steam Deck. This is going to be a lot of people going forward, as it's the most powerful handheld on the market with the biggest library. Something repeatedly brought up in the video is the lowest end model of the Steam Deck only having 64GB of storage, and customers will need to buy a microSD card right away to expand that storage. I find this as an odd problem to continue to bring up in the video about whether or not the Steam Deck is competition for the Switch, as the highest end Switch model only has 64GB. Everyone I know needed to buy a microSD for their Switch, including me, so this isn't really a point in the Switch's favor, rather a problem they both share, so there's no upper hand here. The point that reigns true in this video is that there's no Nintendo exclusives on the Steam Deck. If you want to play Super Mario Odyssey, you need a Nintendo Switch. The hardcore Nintendo audience will buy the new Nintendo consoles if they want to play the latest exclusives. This segues into my first point I'd like to bring up that was not talked about in the discussion. As we've seen from the GameCube and Wii U eras, Nintendo exclusives are not always enough to carry their consoles. Generally, they need an initial draw, uniqueness, and third-party support. The initial draw and uniqueness for the Switch is that it's a console handheld hybrid. This led many, including me, to buy a Switch version of a game if it was available on that platform. I was willing to double dip and sacrifice performance for games I had already bought so I could play it on my Switch. The Switch let you play games on TV locally with friends, or individually with everyone playing on their own Switches on the go, or by yourself. The uniqueness for this system is gone. I'm not going to be buying third-party games on the Switch going forward. I was hoping for a Sonic Adventure 2 HD bundle on the Switch so I could do my Chow Garden portable. Now if they come out with an HD bundle, I really don't care because I have both Sonic Adventure games on Steam that I got for less than $5. I was going to buy Rivals of Aether again so I could play it portable. Now I don't need to. I can play Rivals of Aether on a portable with a community-created character and mods for my favorite games. The list goes on. I can get games that are cheaper and run better with all the benefits the Switch had and more. No matter what controller me or my friends prefer, everyone can use whatever controller they want. I can choose for myself what settings in game I want to get a consistent frame rate, unlike the Switch where they pick for me and it can dip below 20 FPS in some third-party games. Many companies have been porting their older games to the Switch because they have been performing so well on the platform. The third-party sales could take a huge hit, because me, along with what I imagine is many others, will only be buying the exclusives on the Nintendo Switch. I'm no longer going to be buying watered-down ports of third-party games for a higher price than I could pay for on Steam. In the point brought up earlier about the audience branching out, I brought up one example of someone who does not like PC gaming picking up a Steam Deck. I see this continuing to happen. The Steam Deck is made to be simple, and for people to pick up and grab who don't want to build a PC, but want to play PC games on the go. To recap, the Switch's main draw is no longer unique, and there's virtually no reason to buy a Switch version of third-party games. I do believe this will put a dent in the Switch's software sales, and as word for the Steam Deck spreads to more casual gamers, I believe it'll become a true competitor to the Switch. Those are my thoughts on the GameXplain Steam Deck discussion. Also, this should be obvious, but I have no qualms with GameXplain. I only made this video to present points that they may not have thought of or been aware of. Their opinions should be respected. If you agree or disagree with my points, leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.